Hello everyone, my name is Lena KrupinA, and today we will discuss another historical event that took place in Sofia in Bulgaria at the World Championship. Who became the absolute world champion, how gymnasts fought for medals, and who became the best gymnast of this year. Well, important information for me, since YouTube is not monetized now, it is especially important for me if you have the opportunity to support me through the links in the description. Thank you very much in advance. And important information for you, the Telegram channel is a really cool place where I talk about gymnastics. So during the individual all-around, I led the live performances of gymnasts, and those who subscribed to the channel could see in real time how the gymnast performed. And even if it does not motivate you to subscribe, then I don't really know what can. But there is a lot of interesting information about gymnastics, which is published every day. I'm really waiting for you there because I put a lot of my energy into it and I want you to be comfortable, given that YouTube videos can't come out so quickly anyway. Well, let's already remember how the all-around went for the gymnast. I think initially after the removal of Boryana Kaleyn and Daria, the competition for gold became more obvious. So the main three leaders for the gold medal were Daria Varfolomeev, a German gymnast, Stilyana Nikolova, a Bulgarian gymnast, and Sofia Raffaeli, an Italian gymnast. The rest showed lower scores, so there was more struggle for silver and bronze. But the fight for gold still unfolded interesting and intriguing. Of course, it is important to understand that there were no main leaders, and as much as I liked the analogy with cats and mice, all these three gymnasts in the presence of all world leaders are clearly more like mice. But the most surprising thing is that even without the cats, they arranged a real party for fans, and those who say and write that World Championship was not interesting to watch, then you just didn't watch it. Therefore, all the performances were beautiful here, an incredible gymnast with amazing talents, but at the same time losses and tears and intrigue. What else do you need for a real final? So Sofia Raffaeli, an Italian gymnast, became the absolute World Championship in the individual all-around, the first Italian gymnast to win the all-around World Championship. For Sofia, this was the 5th gold medal of this World Championship, and it was not obvious at first. So Sofia started with clubs where there were several dangerous moments that could deprive her of gold. In the clubs, she also had a loss at the last apparatus difficulty, and there was a dangerous catch near the floor at a risk, which could have dragged her far. And with such a beginning, I don't know how she had the nerve to pull herself together and not fall apart. But then everything went a bit better, although there were inaccuracies in each performance. So in the ribbon, the risk flew in the wrong direction and she had to do tumbles in a circle. There was also inaccuracies in 2 places in the hoop. After 3 routines, Sofia was not in the lead and was clearly upset and kiss and cry. True, it was an advantage over the others that she had already done the ribbon routine, for which gymnasts usually receive a much lower mark. There were small blots on her last performance with hoop, but in general it was an excellent performance and she got a good score, which helped her win back her gold. Great reaction in kiss and cry, and in my opinion, a well-deserved gold. Silver in the all-around was won by Daria Varfolomeev, a German gymnast who was predominantly the leader in the all-around. She did an excellent job with all of her routines, having passed them without visible errors. There were errors in little things, but they were clearly less than those made by Sofia or Stiliana. Dasha's reaction to the end of the ribbon was cool. Most surprising that Dasha is only 15 years old and she confidently passed all 4 routines, which is amazing. I think I was not the only one who associated her with Yana Kudryavtseva, who at the age of 15 won all the gold medals of the World Championship and also performed without any flinches with iron nerves. I think this is just the beginning for Dasha and such success. I hope she will only be motivated to work even harder, and we will still see her as a leader. Well, the bronze for her country was won by Stilyana Nikolova, a Bulgarian gymnast. Unfortunately, not everything was clean with her, which I think largely was influenced by the fact that Stilyana broke away from the leaders step by step. Initially, she was 100% contender for gold, given that she was at home, and in terms of the difficulty of her routines, she could score points identical to the leaders, but apparently such was not her fate. And what I liked about Stilyana's interview after the tournament is that she says that she will be able to show the results better and give it her all. Of the largest losses in the ribbon, she at the risk, which led to other dirt. Well, it was these 3 gymnasts who won tickets to the Olympics for their countries. True, the vouchers are not registered and other gymnasts can go, but the fact remains that we will see gymnasts from Italy, Bulgaria, and Germany in Paris. And since we started talking about Bulgaria, let's find out how things are going with Boryana Kaleyn. So Ilyana Raiva gave an interview in which she spoke about her condition. Now Boryana is at home, she has no temperature, her tests are good. There is another study which they want to carry out. While doctors cannot say for sure whether it was post-COVID or some other virus that weakened her body, Boryana feels much better now. She is very worried about missing the World Championship. Ilyana Raiva shares that when they talked with Boryana, she was watching the World Championship and crying. I like the support of the president of the Federation of Bulgaria, that she said that everything that happened was probably made by a devil, and God protected from something more terrible. But there was something I did not like in the interview with Ilyana Raiva, as she apparently, following the tradition of the presidents of Federation, said that Boryana had no competitors at this World Championship. I really don't like such expressions and sincerely want to believe that she is simply trying to support Boryana with such phrases, but in fact Boryana had problems with stability all season long, and it's still a big question whether she would have won all the medals even if she was in good shape. All we know how gymnasts know how to lose at the wrong moment. Well, back to the results of the all-around. Victoria Nabrienko, the gymnast of Ukraine, took 4th place in all-around, and considering what a difficult condition the Ukrainian gymnasts are in, not to mention the emotional conditions, I think this is a very good result. There were mistakes, but even despite them, I think this is a great achievement, even despite the fact that this is not a medal. Let's hope that everything will be better as soon as possible and Vika will fully fight for her medals. What was probably the most emotional thing about the performances was the ending. After the hoop, Vika cried on the carpet and the audience supported her very much. 5th place in the all-around was won by Milena Baldassari, another Italian gymnast. For Milena, this was her personal record at the World Championships, and I must say quite deserved so. In terms of execution, everything was fine in all performances, only there was a loss in the ball during the turn, when the ball flew out of her hand. The 6th place was taken by an Israeli gymnast, Adia Sekatz. For Israel, this was the best place in the all-around of the World Championship with the 2nd number of the team, so it's also a record. But the main thing is that Adia Katz went through all her routines without big mistakes. And by the way, an interesting fact was that on the broadcast this time it was not clear who was protesting and who was not, but Adi Katz was one of the gymnasts who followed protests, and her hoop score was raised by 3/10. Stilyana and Nikolova's scores were raised quite a bit, one by 4/10 and the other by 2. I think this proves that at home tournaments they don't overestimate their gymnast. The 7th place was taken by Ekaterina Vidineva, a Slovenian gymnast. For Katya's, this was a personal record, of course, the best result for Slovenia at the World Championships. And Katya once again proved that older gymnasts can show good results. In execution, all 4 routines went smoothly without major errors. The 8th place was taken by Ilshana Taniyeva. For Kazakhstan, this has become the best place since 2010. Before that, Anna Alabieva rose a little bit higher. But Ilshana was remembered not only for her high results, she surprised in the final with her reaction to saving the apparatus, which of course she herself threw in the wrong place, but it looked epic. So in the hoop, there were 2 moments where she professionally flew behind the hoop, and in the ball, there was a dangerous moment. Well, I can't help but note that everyone who hasn't watched the broadcast should definitely see this perfectly combinated twist, maybe even twice. The 9th place in the final was taken by Fanny Pignitsky, who did an excellent job with all her programs, passing them in one breath. For Hungary, it has become the best place in the individual all-around final at the World Championships since 1987. In terms of execution, I especially like the ball. I really get goosebumps from this routine. 10th place was taken by a US gymnast, Evita Griskinas. According to Evita, I especially liked her support for other gymnasts. So after the performance, she supported not only her team teammate, but was also worried and cheered for everyone. Perhaps this is the same American friendliness, but from the outside it looks cool. On the whole, everything was done at a good level without big mistakes. Takmina Kramova, a gymnast of Uzbekistan, became 11th. Unfortunately, there were big errors. Of the largest in clubs, there was an expensive loss at the risk. Lily Mizuno, US gymnast, became 12th. There was some dirt, but overall not bad. Well, I really liked her leotard for the ribbon. Just wow. Zokra Kamirova from Azerbaijan ranked 13th. She passed all 3 events as cleanly as possible without hesitation. But in the last event, she had to fight with the ribbon, although initially she was the leader in her group. Marina Malpica, Mexican gymnast, placed 14th. And this was, of course, the best result for Mexico and the first final of individual all-around at the World Championship. And for me, Malpica was probably the discovery of this tournament. Just unreal beauty and very emotional. Margarita Kolosov ended up 15th in the final. Unfortunately, there were many mistakes. Zhao Yatsing, a Chinese gymnast, placed 16th and performed her routine without big errors. Alba Bautista finished 17th, also not ideally passing all her 4 routines, while the gymnast from Romania, Anais Dragan, closed the top 18 of the individual all-around final. There were losses and mistakes. This is how the real World Championship came out. Write in the comments your favorites and who you discovered for yourself at this tournament. Well, remember that I love you all very much, and bye-bye.